actually wonder what Mario would sound like if he was being played by like another actor. Like, what would Mario sound like if he was being voiced by Christopher Walken?
Hey, we're in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's pretty crazy going down pipes. It's me, Mario.
What if it was Patrick Warburton?
Oh, hey, hanging out. Look at the Goomba. Oh, Goomba. Oh, Gooba.
What if it was Marvin the Martian?
Hey, that Earthling... No, not the Earthling. The Earthling's trying to save him. The dragon turtle stole my princess. After him, stop the dragon turtle.
Hey, H. Give me some cake.
What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night. That means it's time for a little bit of stupidity, a little bit of fun, and a whole lot of movie news. We are the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Chris Adams.
You can't even say your own name in that voice.
What?
That Earthling is named Robert Adams of the Cinefanatics.
Anyway.
It's like the only voice that I can like absolutely do 100%, no question whatsoever. Marvin the Martian. I'm trying to remember if there was like any other voices, but I can't remember off the top of my head. That's always like my that and Stitch, because my Stitch is actually pretty good too. I could be Mario, something like that. Anyways, how's everyone's week going? It is Wednesday night. Garth is saying now in Warburton's voice, say, I love that peach pie. Let's put a pause on that for just a second, because that seems like a really good opportunity to plug streamlabs.com/cinefanatics over here. If y'all have any questions, comments, issues, complaints, or if we're going to continue doing more voices, streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. That's a good way to get our attention. Also plug in real quick. Patreon.com/cinefanatics. Hop on the tier that's good for you. If you feel like you want to support us and you have the means, please come to patreon.com/cinefanatics. We'll be updating probably next week on what the movie watch along and the movie trivia hangout will be for this month. So, anyways, let's see, what else do we have going on real quick? Let's talk about some plugs and stuff. For the past couple of weeks, do what?
Plugs and stuff.
Plugs and stuff. Every time I say this, like I feel like I need like some kind of like new graphic or whatever, kind of like what the Tonight Show or any late night show does. They always have like some kind of graphic that pops up on the screen.
Works a lot better if we had the Roots behind us going plugs and stuff. Wow.
Could probably make a few calls.
Yeah, you can make a few calls. You're not going to reach anybody, but you can make a few calls.
Hey, I didn't say it was going to be successful. I was just saying I can make calls. I mean, I can literally pick up my phone and make calls.
Didn't say I was going to try to call the Roots.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. Anyways, past couple of weeks, I have been talking about the return of the Tears for Fears marquee coming this October. Well, it is October, and okay, whatever. Fucking weirdo. Anyway, since it is October, the first marquee of the spooky season is this coming Friday. Now we will announce who's going to be joining us. We will be covering the Child's Play movies, which joining us will be a Mr. Vernon Greene and Miss Tori Rose. We're going to be talking about Child's Play, all the Child's Play movies from the original 1988 to the 2019 somewhat remake, I guess, reboot. It's more of like its own movie, and they just happen to stick a character named Chucky with familiar looking overalls in there. So that will be the Chucky, you might say. That's actually pretty good, Garth. I like that one. So that is this Friday, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, right here for your viewing enjoyment. That is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be 8 movies. It's going to be a short marquee, y'all, but we're going to have a lot of opinions on that one. So
it sounds like someone's already got some opinions in store.
Yeah, for a treat on Saturday. We're doing it Friday, but it's Friday. Saturday I will be going to see Terrifier 2. I wanted to go see it Thursday, tomorrow night, but I decided to go see Roger Waters, one of the lead singer writers of Pink Floyd, is coming to Austin tomorrow night. So I got tickets to that. That's going to be a lot of fun because I've seen him once before. This is probably going to be the final time for me to be able to see him because he's 79 years old and he's still touring the world singing Pink Floyd songs. So
I hope I'm kicking like that at 79.
I know, like, I just watched, like, most of his concerts are on YouTube right now, and I just watched, like, a couple of clips from one of his latest performances of this concert tour. And, yeah, this dude's moving around, he's dancing, he's singing, like, this guy's, yeah, he's still got it. So I'm eager for that show tomorrow night.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is the microphone picking up the extremely loud party that is being had at the grills right outside of my window?
I can't tell if I'm hearing it from you or if I'm just hearing it myself because it sounds like it's right on the other side of this wall right here.
They are having a time out there, let me tell you.
And I'm like, is it Friday, Saturday? No, it's a Wednesday night. Why are you out there partying at the barbecue grills on a Wednesday? Welcome to Texas, y'all. There's a barbecue grill. Parties will happen. So,
it's still hot enough. So,
Malcolm, good question. I'm not putting the Chucky TV series on the marquee, just because there's just not enough time to go through. I would actually need to do an entire rewatch of that. Someone else who's joining us would need to watch it for the first time, and just probably not enough time. So, I like Legos.
It's also only one season so far.
Yeah, so the second season actually starts tonight. It's actually probably starting right now or so while we're doing this, at least in the central time zone. I don't know how that's working with other time zones, but I'm probably not going to be able to watch this first episode of Chucky until tomorrow because I typically watch it like the day after on like Sci-Fi or Hulu or something like that. So that's what I did for the first season of Chucky. Anyways, so I will say... So that's going to be this weekend, this Friday. The following Friday, we're doing the marquee again. There's 3 of them this month.
What?
I'll go ahead and say the marquee for next Friday, not this Friday, but the following. We're going to be tier ranking a bunch of like cult classic indie 80s horror movies. If you're someone who is wanting to get into horror, or you want to expand your horror horizons knowledge, and you want some like good like 80s horror movies, we've got some on there, and I've got a hell of a panel to talk about them. Not really mentioning anyone in particular, but like if anyone happens to really like 80s horror movies, they may be a part of that. There's going to be some good ones on there. So yeah, if you're looking for something new to watch, tune into that. There's going to be a lot of like little known gems. We're not going to be talking about like Freddy, Jason, Michael, or Chucky on this. Not even any pinheads. No pinheads in this either. So it's going to be some good ones. Some of them you may have heard of them. Some of them you might not have, but stick around for good recommendations. But yeah, as far as horror movies go, I'm seeing Terrifier 2 on Saturday since I'm doing the Child's Play marquee on Friday. And Chris is asleep now.
Oh, horror movies, what?
And then at some point this weekend, I'm also going to try to shove in...
Watch it. Don't watch how you finish that phrase.
I'm going to shove in Pinhead by watching that Hellraiser reboot that's on Hulu. So, yep, that is coming up this weekend. So a whole lot of stuff over the next couple of days. I'm going to be a busy person. That being said, I'm contemplating I might do a stream on my YouTube channel tonight after Tagline. Just to, I don't know. It'll be more of a hangout. I really don't have anything specifically to talk about. So, anyways, that's for personal stuff. We can do a marquee episode with Chris if we do Rubber.
What are we ranking?
Rubber. We're just gonna rank the movie Rubber.
I'm gonna put it at S tier.
So we're gonna be tier ranking all the all what like the psychopathic sentient tires movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. S tier for rubber. All right, good night, everybody.
Yeah. So Jeremy here. I'm a casual horror fan, so most of the 80s horror movies that I posted in Discord I haven't heard of. Yeah, there's a lot of them in there. So that's the other thing too. If you're a part of our Patreon, you have access to the Discord. I usually will post what the movies we're going to be ranking are on there. So if you want to watch the movies before we rank them, that way you have an idea of like what it was we watched and why we're ranking it. I feel like they are making a sequel to Rubber. I believe I heard that. That's best movie with tires. So it's up against Rubber and Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah. Anyways, for personal stuff,
they are making a sequel to Rubber. It's with a cheese wheel.
The sentient cheese wheel. Hopefully it's not one of those like really expensive like Parmesan wheels.
It's basically the exact same movie except it's called Cheese.
Jeez, I'd
watch it.
That was a cheesy joke. Yes.
Hey, you got it. You understood.
Fromage carnage. That's what it's called.
Fromage.
Yeah. Anyways, so again, typically we would talk about personal stuff, but because we now have 2 other platforms, feel free to.
At this point, typically we're talking about not talking about personal stuff.
Just as a reminder, if you would like to follow Chris and all his personal stuff, make sure you go check him out at twitch.tv/ChrisAdamsMLP. If you would like to hear me talk about personal stuff besides movies, there's my YouTube channel, and there's a link for it down in the description here. Like I said, I might do something afterwards tonight, just kind of like a hangout.
This is also correct.
Yeah. Cars 2 is a horror movie. Absolutely. I have seen this. Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. Wow. What a weird movie. Just. Anyways, let's talk about some movies that we've watched. Has anyone watched anything new? Let us know in the chat. So you and I have seen a bunch of new movies over this past week.
I've seen 2.
Yeah. Well, we've seen 2. Yeah, you've seen 2 new ones. I do want to talk about, we just got back from watching Avatar in the theater again. So I kind of want to do like another like re-review for that real quick here in a minute. And then we could both talk about the other one that we saw together. But what's the other one that you saw that I haven't seen yet?
Watched it a couple nights ago. Moonfall came out earlier this year, guys. Moonfall, watch it. If you haven't watched it yet, you need to watch it. You absolutely need to watch this movie. It's kind of nuts, but it's probably, I honestly, at this point, I think it's like the upper tiers of Roland Emmerich movies, which I know the bar is very low. There's also one high bar with The First Independence Day. But outside of that, it was fantastic. I loved the movie. It's a lot of fun. There's lore to the movie also beyond just what you see. There is a whole freaking prequel to this movie that I want to see a movie of, and there's a whole sequel, I'm sure, that I really want to see a movie of too. Like they definitely set it up for a sequel. But yeah, Moonfall, it's got some corny stuff in it, of course, but overall, I was expecting it to be far worse than it was. It's actually a lot of fun, and it is actually currently, because there's a lot of movies I still need to catch up on this year. Get off me. It's currently in my top 10. Again, there's a lot of movies I still need to catch up on. It might not stay there by the end of the year, but as it stands right now, it's in that top 10. It's really good. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, you can watch Moonfall whenever.
Yeah.
So
you watched a new one that you highly recommend that I haven't seen. Now, let me talk about a new one that I watched that I highly recommend that you haven't seen yet. Vengeance. This was a movie that was written and directed by BJ Novak, and it is good. It is so. I had so much fun with this movie. It's basically, he is a New York reporter. A girl that he had relations with basically someone he slept with in New York. She's from Texas. She dies, and so her family thinks that BJ Novak is her boyfriend. So he gets called upon from her brother, played by what's his name?
Yep.
He was in Logan.
Oh yeah. Boyd Holbrook.
Yes.
Boyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So he plays her brother. So
It's Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, he calls BJ Novak to come to Texas for the funeral because he's part of the family since he was her boyfriend, and he really wasn't. And so he goes, starting up like a podcast career, and it's fun because it's like a fish out of water comedy type of story with like a murder mystery potentially involved in it. So it's really good, especially if y'all want to know anything about like Texas, like namely our love and relationship with Whataburger. That movie will tell you. That movie explains it all. Watch that movie and you will understand why we Texans love Whataburger so much.
Why do you love it? Because it's there.
Because it's there.
It is. It's right there. Guys, it's right there.
Here's the thing. Like, quick side note, not really spoilery. Like, they do say like goofy reasons like that, but they also have a real meaningful reason why they love Whataburger, and it works so beautifully because it's true. So highly recommend that. Easily recommend it.
Yep.
The only other new one that I saw before we get into the other ones that you and I saw together, I did see Smile. Was a good decent horror movie. Yeah, stop it, that's just weird. It's more of a Anyways, there's a freeze frame for everyone. Someone's going to go back and freeze frame. And they're like, well, here's what happens when you watch the tagline with the Cinefanatics. So, and there goes all of our viewers. They're all like, nope.
Oh, that hurts my head. Ugh.
Anyways, 2022 is turning into a fantastic year for horror movies. So Smile, I'll put up there with it. It wasn't my favorite horror movie this year. So far, that's still Barbarian, but Smile was good. Especially like the last 5 minutes was just, whew, I want to rewatch that last 5 minutes. And just, if you can see it in a theater, go see it in a theater just for that last 5 minutes alone.
Sorry, I was debating whether or not I need to mute my mic because I think I heard them singing the Happy Birthday song, which is definitely copyrighted for some reason.
No, it's not. It's in public domain now.
Well, you know, Universal Records or Warner Brothers
Universal
Records
Music
has some kind of label control over some recording of Happy Birthday, and we would get screwed some way on it. The stream would come down, people outside singing Happy Birthday still.
Those of y'all that might not be familiar, if you don't make YouTube content, you might be familiar with copyright stuff. If music has ever played, one of the number one copywriters that go after music being played is the Universal Music Group. They are the bane of any YouTuber that puts music in their videos. Yeah. So even if it's like free use, they'll still find some way to copyright it. So just annoying as hell. So yeah, Smile was good. I do recommend it. Not the top tier of horror movies, but definitely belongs on that list as a reason why 2022 is a good year for horror. So the other one that we saw together for the first time was Don't Worry, Darling. Which is funny because we actually saw that earlier in the day, and then I went to go see Smile that evening. So I did a double feature basically. Yeah, and I saw that the Real Rejects hum the Mission Impossible theme and got strike by it. Just so stupid.
It's so dumb.
Dead Meat did the same thing with the Mortal Kombat theme as they had it playing and they couldn't post the video, the Mortal Kombat kill count. So he turned around and played it like on a saxophone or whatever badly, and it still got hit. Like, that's so dumb. I've already screenshotted Robert and Chris smiling. Great.
You gave them the idea.
I know.
If you didn't say that, no one would have done it.
Here's the thing. Like, no, people would have done it just because it was super silly looking. Anyways, Don't Worry, Darling. Not really spoiling anything, but it was okay. Just, it's not gonna land high on our lists, I think.
It's not gonna be in the top 10.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think you enjoyed it more than I did?
I probably enjoyed it just a skosh more than you did, but I think
Skosh.
we both have pretty much the same opinion, which is that movie really could have used a little bit more time cooking. Need a little bit more time in the oven, just bake a little bit longer, and it would have been there. It was so close. Like there's a message that it's got, and I can pick up on it. I can see it. I get it. But I don't think it's really driving the point home well enough. I think they should have cut some time off the movie to get to the point of the movie. And I think when they get to certain aspects of the movie, they needed to think it through a little bit more, just a little bit more. So
I will say, again, not really spoiling anything, but don't go into this movie looking for some massive like M. Night Shyamalan, Jordan Peele type of twist. It doesn't.
Well, maybe M. Night Shyamalan, but not Jordan Peele.
Okay. Maybe M. Night Shyamalan on any of his movies other than The Sixth Sense or The Village. That kind of level. Yeah. It's like when everything's revealed, you're like, oh, okay. I guess. So, yeah.
It's got elements of that in it, but not completely.
Yeah. That's easily what you could tell from the trailer, and that's the way the trailers are purposely making it look like. It's not that, but it's not that far off either. It's going in that direction. Florence was a delight.
Fantastic. Literally everybody in the movie actually did a fantastic job. There is not a single performance that I think was less than. I think everybody did fantastic in the movie, but the movie itself was just kind of.
I don't know why there's so much hate on Harry Styles in this. Here's the thing, like Harry Styles, I am only familiar with pretty much from him being in movies. I didn't listen to One Direction. I think there's like one Direction song that I'll recognize if it's playing, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head right now. But otherwise, and the only reason I'd recognize is because when they first came out with that song, I was working at a retail store and it played over the radio like crazy. So, yeah. But otherwise, yeah. Everything I've seen him acting in so far hasn't been bad. He was good in Dunkirk. His 1 minute bit at the end of Eternals, especially given the character he was playing in Eternals, was fantastic. He was a perfect casting choice for that role. And this movie, I thought he did very well in. So,
define spit on somebody, because there was definitely some. There's definitely some eating.
Yeah. there's some mouth juices that are going places other than a mouth in that movie.
That was a weird dirt. Okay, that you added on there. He added on there. All right. Okay.
Oh, let's see.
And then to Malcolm's question, when you watched Don't Worry Darling, could you sense the tension between the actors due to the behind the scenes drama? Absolutely not. And on top of that, I am shocked that Olivia Wilde was fighting so hard to get Shia LaBeouf in this movie, because he would not have fit at all. I think he would have actually brought the movie down even more. I think Harry Styles was a lot better of a choice than Shia would have been. So weird.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't feel any of the tension at all.
Anyways, moving on. So, of course, like I said, we just got back from seeing the re-release of Avatar in the theater. It was in 3D, which I'll be honest, this is my second time watching Avatar. I haven't watched it again since the first time I saw it in the theater, because I'm not a fan of this movie. It's just very. I mean, even if I hadn't seen, or in fact, I've never seen Dances with Wolves. If I wasn't familiar with that kind of a storyline already, I probably still would have been bored by this, because it's very generic story.
Pocahontas, Ferngully.
Yeah, like all those, it has that same kind of storyline to it, and it's like, oh, you know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah.
So, but what is really good about Avatar are the visuals. The cinematography is gorgeous. The way that they've designed and made Pandora look is breathtaking, especially with the 3D effects in there. There's still, I feel like they were still as good as they were when I saw it in the theater in 2009.
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was a little more entertained, I feel like, this time. With the exception that the movie theater that we were in was a freaking freezer.
It was a meat locker. It was so cold.
So, yeah, I've always wondered what Sylvester Stallone's John Spartan feel like when he was frozen for Demolition Man. Well, now I know.
There you Yeah, Avatar. Here's the thing. My opinion is Avatar's good. It's a good movie. I enjoy Avatar. I think it's a well-made movie. I think everybody in it does as good a job. I think there's definitely some cheesy dialogue in there. I think freaking Korich, the bad dude played by Stephen Lang, he is stereotypical meathead military guy. And it's almost like painfully obvious that they really didn't feel like giving him any kind of depth. He's just like, let's go in there and blow up kind of dude. And that's kind of, it's a little bit of weak character right there. But otherwise, like, the movie itself is not a bad movie. Yeah, it's derivative, sure, but the story they're telling and the way they're telling it isn't terrible. And the visuals are fantastic. It's a excellent spectacle on the big screen. So I don't know how much longer it's going to be in theaters. I think it only had like a 2-week engagement, so it's probably only got like a couple days left, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I recommend if you've never gotten the chance to see it in the theater in 3D, I would recommend going and checking it out, because at the very least, it's an excellent example of why we love going to the movies.
Yeah. Here's the other thing with it, going back real quick. Again, I didn't like Avatar, especially when I first saw it. I enjoyed it a little bit more this time. But I think there might be a possibility I might enjoy the second one coming out a little bit more, mainly because this first one set up that storyline, that Dances with Wolves, Orangoli, Pocahontas. It set up that same storyline. That storyline's done. All the characters have been set. We know who the characters are. Now we're going to go into a whole new story using these characters. We're not playing, hopefully, the same story again. Force Awakens, New Hope, please don't do that.
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Avatar 2 Waterworld or whatever.
Waterworld.
Oh, Kevin Costner's in it. I
Yeah.
really drive home the Dances with Wolves stuff, but whatever.
The floating rocks and flying dragon creatures owe a lot to Roger Dean's album covers for Yes in Asia. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about with those. It does. And yeah, the trailer for Avatar 2 looks gorgeous. I'm guessing it's going to be in 3D also.
Yeah, it's what played after our movie was done.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So we quickly hightailed it out of there because we were freezing our toes off.
Yeah, we didn't watch the preview afterwards. We just we were already ice cubes that were just dying to get back into the sun.
Yeah. We did see it was the first trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. They did play that in 3D before the movie, and that looked gorgeous. Like, awesome. if that movie's going to be in 3D, well, I got the tickets for it, and I don't think it is, but
no, I mean, 3D looks good. I'll probably watch the Avatar movies in 3D, but I'm not like I'm not about trying to like hunt down every single movie in the world in 3D. 3D is fine at times, but I don't need them 3D all the time.
Yeah. Anyways, that's our thoughts on Avatar's re-release. Let's talk about some movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
What? Did you have like amplifiers on your knuckles, or good Lord, that
was man. That's just my knuckles. Speaking of knuckles, did you see that Brendan Gleeson's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live this coming Saturday?
That's a good one.
Knuckles McGinty. I am excited for that. Has absolutely nothing to do with the box office that we're about to dive into, but I'm just saying.
Did you see
I'm excited for that one.
Did you see the video, the promo of him skateboarding around the studio? Like, why is he skateboarding? He skateboards?
Why is he better at it than me? It's clearly not him, but still.
That's funny.
All right, so let's talk about that box office. Can we guess what the number one movie in the box office is this week?
I'm pretty sure I can.
It's Don't Worry, Darling. I'm just kidding. It's Smile. I just wanted to make I just wanted to fool everybody for a smidge. It's Smile. Smile made about $22.6 million in its opening weekend, which, I generally speaking, I don't know how well everyday horror movies do in the box office, but I feel like that sounds like a pretty good deal to me, considering that most horror movie budgets are like $100.
I'll be honest, when we saw the trailer for it, when the trailer came out, well, a couple of things about the trailer real quick. One, it's a very generic looking trailer. It really doesn't show anything. I don't feel like it was any better than like your casual day-to-day horror movie trailer that comes out. Just, all right, something spooky is going on, cool, but it doesn't like really reach and grab you, except for that one shot in the trailer. Yeah, which... One thing about that movie, Smile, real quick, that is the best jump scare in the entire movie, and it was ruined in the trailer. When it gets to that scene, you see her sitting in the car. It's her sister that's running towards the car, and you're like, oh, here it comes. Yep, there it is. I didn't jump at all because I knew to expect it. It was the best shot, one of the best shots. The last 5 minutes, there's a couple of good ones in there too, but it was like easily one of the best shots of the whole movie, and it was in the trailer. They ruined it. Like, why?
Can we find out what the budgets are when we click on these? I don't think it says.
I think it did. I think it did earn back its budget and then some, especially if you're looking at like worldwide numbers. But yeah, 22 million's not bad.
I'm just looking at domestic. Yeah, 22.6 million. I'm pretty sure its budget is like around 100,000. I don't know. I don't really know what horror movie budgets are, but I know they're very low.
Tori, do not watch the trailer for Smile. Just go see it. And that being said, I may have said too much already, but I mean, forget what I said and just go watch it.
Definitely spoiled it a little bit there, but hey, whatever. Number 2 in the box office is Don't Worry, Darling. Pulled in another 6.8 million, dropped 64% from its number 1 spot last week. That movie is not gonna make its money back. I'm pretty sure. So there you go. Oh,
Smile's budget was 17 million.
So yeah, it worldwide it made its money back plus marketing. So
yeah. Especially real quick, talk about that marketing.
Oh yeah,
people wearing the Smile shirts at the baseball games was so good.
Genius.
I love watching. There's that one video, that one shot of the girl just standing there, like she's turned to the side, looking at a camera that's focused on her, just sitting there smiling. And there's the black couple that's right there, and the wife is sitting there. She's got this look like,
what the hell's happening?
These crazy white people doing or whatever. This is some white people shit right here. Like, it's so funny. I love her reaction.
Every time I see someone smiling like that, though, I immediately think of Joker from The Dark Knight. Hi.
I think more to the stupid Instagram filter that they used in Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah.
The ones that they did in Smile, though, I don't think they actually did any kind of filtering. I think they just got actors that are really good at having a creepy ass smile, especially that dude that's sitting in the hotel room as she walks by the room, and he's just sitting there.
Yeah. Number 3 in the box office. Let's try to stay on track here. Number 3 is The Woman King, dropping from the number 2 spot from last week. Number 4 is the Avatar re-release. Made another 5 million this week. So that thing is, Avatar is never getting knocked out of the number 1 spot. It's gonna stay there forever.
Yeah.
They really need to re-release Endgame. Number 5 is the Billy Eichner rom-com Bros.
So it made it in the top 5. That's not bad.
It made it in top 5, 4.8. It didn't do as much as obviously they would have really liked, but
I understand why, because this was like the first like mainstream gay rom-com movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
And like kudos to them for doing that, for putting it out there. I believe it's, if nothing else, even though it didn't win the box office, I feel like it is going to be like a good push
Yeah.
for more like, I guess, inclusive rom-coms like that.
It's got a couple pieces of discussion around it. One of which is were straight audiences just generally not interested because it's a gay rom-com, or is it that audiences in general are just not interested in flocking to the theaters for comedies
Rom-coms.
like that, for rom-coms, for comedies of that nature? Not even that it's a gay movie, just that kind of movie. So there's a lot there surrounding that one.
Like, I also know it wasn't marketed very well. The only real marketing, like, I saw the trailer here and there, like playing like ads before YouTube videos that I was clicking on. Otherwise, I really didn't see anything about it other than Billy Eichner doing his Billy on the Street to kind of help drive up press for it, which those are always funny. So,
yeah. Tori says also timing. It's spooky season. So those of y'all who lean more into the LGBTQ queer side of things in the chat, if y'all let us know, do you think generally speaking this movie would have performed better if it released in June during the actual Pride Month? Do you think that would have actually done better for this movie?
I think like either June or I probably also would have maybe stuck it in February, like around Valentine's Day. Also,
or around Valentine's Day, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and not everyone can have a Valentine's Day and celebrate Valentine's Day, not just straight couples. Yeah, I know.
Wait, what?
Blows my mind. But yeah, that might have been really cool for LGBTQ couples to have a movie on Valentine's Day to go see. So, Lego saying no, definitely don't do June, do February, April. Yeah. I want to say, what was that movie? Love, Simon. What didn't I want to say that came out like in a February? That was either February, March, or April when that came out.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but
number 6 in the box office is a international release. I'm not sure which country, but it is Ponniyin Selvan. Hopefully I said that name right. Number 7 is Barbarian. Number 8 is Bullet Train. Number 9 is DC League of Super Pets. Still in the top 10, even though it's on HBO Max. That means there's one more spot left in the top 10 that Top Gun Maverick could be at.
Please be Top Gun Maverick.
We are close. Is Top Gun Maverick out of the top 10 this week? Is it finally out of the top 10 after being out for 19 weeks? No, it's number 10.
Yeah, so it's been in the top 10 for a full 4 months now.
Which is insane.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Other movies that have done that would be like Avatar, or I'm pretty sure Infinity War and Endgame were both in the top 10 for quite some time.
Dark Knight. I remember Dark Knight was in there for a good couple of months. Titanic
for sure. Any of the movies, like Star Wars movies, any of those movies that have been in the discussion of number 1 box office domestic poll, any of those movies have probably been in for that much time. So
yeah, so Titanic, I know Titanic was in theaters December of 97, and it didn't leave theaters until like June.
Yeah.
So it was in there for quite a long time.
Interesting to see Top Gun Maverick still in the top 10 there. Top Gun Maverick has dipped out of the top 10 but came back in. When did it dip out of the top 10? Every weekend it's been within the top 10 still.
Yeah.
I've looked at this like every weekend, and it says what the placement was last weekend. So like last weekend it was at number 9. So
unless
it's stayed in the top 10.
Unless it was unless it fell out of the top 10 like on a random like Thursday or something.
In the middle of the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
just for that one specific day it fell out of the top 10. But
I guess like some people might calculate that, but in terms of like how we calculate, we're looking at just weekends here. And I'm only looking at domestic. I'm not looking at worldwide. So if it's falling out of the top 10 worldwide, that's a possibility. But
yeah. Well, so good chance that that will probably fall out of the top 10 with this weekend. Because this weekend we've got, Terrifier 2 is not going to be a huge wide release, so that's not going to affect anything.
That's going to release outside.
Amsterdam is the main movie that's releasing.
Is Amsterdam going to be number one though? I don't think
marketing
on that hasn't really been that huge.
It looks interesting, but the reviews, from what I've seen, the reviews haven't been that great. And then that's the movie. Amsterdam's the one done by David O. Russell,
which people have had some words against David O. Russell lately. So
yeah, that's going to probably hurt it a bit.
Potentially does. Halloween comes out in a couple weeks, I believe. Comes out in like what, a week or two?
Yeah. And that one's going to suffer a bit just because it is also releasing day and date on Peacock, which I have access to Peacock, and I didn't like the last one. I'm more likely probably just going to watch it sitting right here on my computer on Peacock. So,
and no one blames you, or at least shouldn't. Anyway, that's your top 10, guys. That's what's going on. Looks like a top 10. Next week, I'm sure it'll look like a top 10 again also.
What the hell kind of comment was that? Yeah, that's a top 10 right there.
That's a top 10. That's
a top 10.
Excellent golf shot, sir.
It's a golf shot. Of course it is. I'm playing golf. I forgot who did that. What comedian did that? Was that Gaffigan?
No, that was Scrubs.
Oh, no. There was a stand-up comedian that made a joke about that too. Like, excellent golf shot. Of course it's a golf shot. I'm playing golf.
Right. It's time for the Barbie Watch. So first of all, guys, I'm going to direct this Barbie Watch to you in the chat. I would like to hear from y'all. What do you think this Barbie movie is really going to be about? Like, give me one sentence plot. What do you think the plot of this Barbie movie is actually going to be? I know there's rumors, there's ideas swirling around out there. People have thoughts and opinions. Like, how do you make a live action Barbie movie? We've seen all the animated ones where she's a princess or a unicorn or something. What do you think the live action movie is actually going to be about? Let me know in the chat real quick before I continue on. I would like to see at least 3 opinions. Let's get some opinions. What do you think the movie's actually going to try to do? What do you think the movie's going to try and be about? Tori says,
the Iron Men are confused.
Barbie is tackling the concept of being more than just a pretty girl. Lego says it's going to be about Barbie and her new girlfriend, like all the animated ones. Malcolm says Barbie is sick of Ken's shit and goes on a murder rampage to kill Ken.
I want to see that. That's a good movie right there.
I hope it's about Barbie getting her college degree. It's like Shawshank Redemption, but with Barbie.
Which part of Shawshank is Barbie playing?
Crawling through the miles of shit. And Garth, as always, it's going to be about giving him seizures as he rolls around on the floor. So let me tell y'all right now, one of the stars in the movie, America Ferrera, whose role we currently do not know what she's going to play in the film, says, fans don't have any idea what to expect. So all of you in the chat are wrong. All of you are incorrect. That is not what the Barbie movie is going to be about, as told by America Ferrera. I hope you all feel terrible about yourselves. This has been your Barbie Watch.
Sometimes I wonder why I agreed to this
before
idea.
We started streaming.
Why did I agree to this idea? Like
5 minutes before I started streaming, that's the idea for Barbie Watch I came up with.
Why don't we do Barbie Watch every week?
I'm committed to the bit.
God. Anyways, I'm hoping if we keep doing this, by the time the movie comes out, we might get like, hey, you guys have been like so supportive of talking about Barbie. We're going to give y'all passes to come see like the critics screening or whatever. We'll be like, cool.
Can they please give us a trailer?
Yeah.
I want to talk about something with substance. Give us a trailer.
We're gonna have to figure out how to incorporate that Barbie watch into the trailer too. Welcome to the Cinefanatics Barbie watch, and then play that.
I get it. I know that the movie comes out next summer and it's a ways off still, but give us a damn trailer already, please. A teaser. I'll take a teaser. Just she drives by in a pink Cadillac. Give me something. Something.
Do we have Cocaine Bear news? No, we do not have Cocaine Bear news. I have seen they did release a poster, the poster for Cocaine Bear like a couple of weeks ago, and it's for some reason it's just now making its way around the internet where people are like, "Wait, this is a real movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, directed by Elizabeth Banks." Yes.
Wait,
we've had Cocaine Bear or Demon Bear on our show to talk about it.
did I know that Elizabeth Banks directed it?
I think you did. Back when we had Demon Bear guest starring.
This is just hitting me right now. That's an insane thought. Elizabeth Banks is directing this movie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Too bad we're not doing like a Cocaine Bear watch, and the graphic is just a bear like snorting like across the ground.
Hey, you gotta sell what touches the audiences, and right now, it's that sweet Barbie news.
Yeah,
the juice of the Barbie tree is. We gotta suckle the teat of the Barbie tree. Nah, I don't like that one.
Watch Cocaine Bear be the best movie of all time. Yeah, that'd be funny.
I'm gonna sit out. I'm just gonna time out myself for that one.
Well, no way to segue this. News broke today that Alec Baldwin has settled the settlement with the family of Helena Hutchins for the movie Rust, the accidental shooting that happened last year.
Oh my God! Way to segue this.
There's no way to segue into this. Let's get into movie news.
Okay.
Anyways, so they've reached a settlement, so it's not going to go to court for anything about that specific incident. Helena Hutchins' husband, Matthew Hutchins, has also he also came out saying that yes, everything is settled, the case is dismissed out of court, and God. Tori is going to be bringing her sense of humor to the marquee this Friday while we talk about Child's Play.
I quit.
Anyways, back on track. Helena Hutchins' husband, Matthew Hutchins, is taking an executive producer credit on Rust, and they are going back into production again. He is saying that it's going to go into production starting January of 2023, which I can't remember if that was already announced. I could have sworn I heard at one point that they were still going to make the movie, but they were still trying to figure out how, and I guess this might be the confirmation of it. But yeah, he's gonna get executive producer credit. The thing about this though is apparently the movie was being filmed in New Mexico. It's still up for potential sanctions from the New Mexico branch of OSHA, the Occupational Health and Safety and Health, whatever. I can't remember. I heard all about OSHA when I was in the military back in the early 2000s. And I can't remember, but whatever.
Occupational Safety and Health of America.
Yeah. So they may be imposing sanctions against the production of this movie and halting it. Apparently, they're doing some kind of investigation court case that I don't believe is actually going to be looked into until April of next year. And so, if they're wanting to start production in January, they may get a sanction against that. So we'll see. But yeah, it's just kind of weird that they're actually going to continue making that movie. I don't know if anyone's actually going to want to go see this movie now. So a little
Who knows?
I don't know. The last time I heard of something like this, like an accidental like prop gun firing, was The Crow back in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one involved like the lead actor though, and the movie was almost completely done filming when that accident happened. So
there's got to be a precedent set where I think we just don't use shootable weapons on set anymore ever.
Well, they
I don't know why.
typically will use blanks.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they're using blanks to either get the sound or to get like the muzzle flash so you can tell that a gun was fired. But
You know what's cool is we have computers that can do computer animation and CGI effects and stuff nowadays, and we should just stick with that at this point. Just non-shootable weapons on set, put it in post.
which is gonna be weird because then that means you've got a bunch of actors that take their craft very seriously, sitting there going, "Pew pew," and like that's all they can do because there won't be any other kind of sound or effect or anything.
Please, sir, can you not use mouth noises on the set? Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm not sure how that production on that's going to go. Again, are people going to want to watch this movie? We'll see.
Yeah.
But
Who knows?
so getting into spooky season news, Bill Skarsgård has been cast as a creepy character in a horror movie. He's going to play Nosferatu in a Nosferatu remake.
Or the name of the vampire, which is not apparently Nosferatu, but
No, Count Orlok.
Count Orlok. Yes, he's going to be playing Count Orlok in Nosferatu.
Yeah. This guy's doing really good at getting himself typecasted in creepy characters. I mean,
He
okay,
do the funny thing with his eyes, so cast him as all creepy characters, and he'll do the funny thing with his eyes in every single movie.
So again, I usually was saying like, don't let anyone spoil or mention anything about the movie Barbarian, and I'm not going to spoil it, but he is in Barbarian, and he's like right at the very beginning of the movie, one of the first characters that we meet, and the whole time you're like, dude, this guy's just, I don't know what to think about this guy, and that was the point of his character, and they did it so well. So yeah, he's one of the strongest parts of Barbarian.
Don't give away my secret.
Horror movies. The only other like horror movie news we got on here I want to talk about is that they're going to make a sequel, and apparently it's being fast tracked to Trick or Treat. Again, those of y'all who might be familiar with this movie, it's a horror anthology movie. I believe it was made by Michael Dougherty back in 2007, but then it sat like in release development hell for like 2 years and then was eventually released on video. It is going to get a theatrical release. Which is great because it's a fantastic movie and it should have had that theatrical release to begin with. It deserves to be in the theater.
Absolutely.
Anyways, it's going to be released in the theaters finally, and it's also getting a sequel made, which is awesome. So
great news.
What's the movie news on Five Nights at Freddy's? Was there a Five Nights at Freddy news that I didn't catch today?
It came out. It was starring Nicolas Cage.
No, that was Willy's Wonderland.
It's the same.
Oh, there was. Yeah, there was news about Five Nights at Freddy's today.
Breaking news.
That apparently it was announced while we were watching Avatar.
Oh, there you go.
They've got a director for it. So it's set at Blumhouse. Blumhouse is producing it. And it is being directed by Emma Tammy, who I don't know who that is. Apparently, she directed a movie called The Wind. But, okay. Yeah, this one's really weird because they should have done a Five Nights at Freddy's movie like long time ago.
At least 2 years ago.
I feel like we're kind of on the end of like being able to make a movie about it while it's still relevant.
I think it'll catch relevance by there being a movie of it.
Well, like the Angry Birds movie came out like 10 years after the mobile game blew up. So yeah, put Nicolas Cage in Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. Actually, that'd be absolutely funny.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage in Willy's Wonderland was pretty good. Almost had the Five Nights at Freddy's concept. I would have liked if they would have pushed a little bit more for that, but I guess they didn't want to, and this Five Nights at Freddy's movie will. So, like, I want to see someone get picked up and shoved into the animatronic suit.
I'm curious if have they said what rating they're trying to push for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Are they trying to push for like an actual R, or because I could easily see them doing a PG-13 on it, going, "Hey, we just want to catch the widest audience possible. It's based off a video game, PG-13."
Yeah, and the video game isn't violent. The video game is scary and jump scares.
Yeah, everything about what makes the story violent is off screen in the video game. You don't actually see it happen.
If you're not familiar, Five Nights at Freddy's, you are playing a new security guard that works at a pizza place like a Chuck E. Cheese, Showbiz Pizza, where they have the animatronic characters that perform while you eat pizza. And the security guard works in the middle of the night where the animatronics seemingly come alive. And if you don't keep them at bay, they'll find you, and they're going to think that you're an animatronic without the animatronic body or skin on you. So they'll take you and they'll forcibly shove you into an empty animatronic, leaving you basically dying in a very bloody, gruesome way. We don't actually see it. The way that the game plays is you see like the monitors and stuff, and all of a sudden this bunny or gorilla or monkey or dog or whatever pops up in front of you and just scares the crap out of you. But that's it. That's all you see. So yeah. Five Nights at Freddy playthroughs are hard to watch. Markiplier does them a lot, and he has really good reactions when he plays, just because of his voice and demeanor. But yeah, that'll be an interesting movie when that comes out. The only other like big news that we got today was this update on the Spawn movie. Spawn is a character created by Todd McFarlane back in the 90s. He did have a movie that came out like in 97 played by Michael Jai White. And then of course there was I think it won like Emmys for animation, the HBO Spawn cartoon from the 90s as well. Both of which, like, the cartoon was great. The movie, kind of cheesy, but they're working on making another movie. They've been planning on making this movie for like the past 15 years or so.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, they announced that they had casted Jamie Foxx in the lead role as Spawn / Al Simmons, and that Jeremy Renner was going to be playing Detective Twitch. Yeah, Sam and Twitch are the cops that are trying to track down Spawn or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So we finally got an update. It was announced that there was going to be an update yesterday, and by Todd McFarlane. And then on his Twitter, he's like, nope, the announcement has been delayed till today. Which was hilarious because it's a movie that's been delayed, and now the announcements about the movie being delayed is also delayed. So
figures.
Yeah. So the announcement they made today is the script is being written by Scott Silver, who was one of the writers for Joker, and Malcolm Spellman, who was one of the creators, or if the creator for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then another person named Matt Mixon, he's just directed documentaries. I didn't find anything relevant that people would know. So we got three writers on there, and Todd McFarlane confirmed that Jamie Foxx is still on board to lead this movie. He didn't mention Jeremy Renner though, which that one was kind of weird. But and I know there was also talks before of having Todd McFarlane direct the Spawn movie. It sounds like he's probably not going to do that. He's wanting to make this like a big official production, so getting like a good like known director, a known cinematographer. So that's what they're looking at next. Hopefully they get that done pretty soon so they can start production on that, and we're not waiting another 5 years.
Is there a world where they convince Guillermo del Toro to do it?
To do a Spawn movie?
Considering that it is relatively close in tone to Hellboy and Blade 2.
I think it's possible. I think doing a Spawn movie might be up his nightmare alley. But yeah, I don't know who else I would think of doing it. It just depends on the tone of the movie, like what exactly they want to go with. The last I heard, the movie idea that Todd McFarlane had was going to still be more focused on the detectives Sam and Twitch. I don't know if they're still pushing in that direction. It sounds like they could have when they announced that Jeremy Renner was going to be playing Twitch. So we're getting a big name for that. When in the 1997 Spawn movie, there really wasn't any mention of Sam and Twitch. You see them at the very end of the movie carting off Jason Wynn. And it's just two actors that happen to look like Sam and Twitch. They didn't actually get named or anything. It's just a quick cameo. If you knew the comics, you knew what they look like, you would recognize them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's still going to be the focus. Depends on what they are wanting to do with the movie. I know the original 97 movie was directed by Mark A.Z. DePay, who did a lot of like music videos. And then I think he went on and has done like a bunch of like Christian movies, something like that. Like I don't think he directed the Kirk Cameron Left Behind, but something similar to that. He just went and just made like Christian movies, I believe. So it was so weird, off the wall. But
fascinating.
Oh no! He didn't do the Christian movies. He did the Boxcar Children.
Oh,
the animated Boxcar Children for Netflix. I was like, wait, this was the guy that did Spawn? Okay. So that was weird.
That would have been an insane story. Went from Spawn to
Boxcar Children.
Went from Spawn to a Christian movie. That would have been a transition.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't like I remember reading the first Boxcar Children. I don't remember the rest of the books like having like any kind of like major like Christian overtones like the Chronicles of Narnia books.
Yeah.
Because C.S. Lewis was a very strong Christian. So
yeah.
Lego, there's like a couple of animated movies. They're not like the best animation, but there is a couple of animated movies on Netflix of it, at least an adaptation of the first book. And I think they did one other one as well. Like I think it's an adaptation of the second book, like this murder mystery on the beach or something like that. Anyways. Yeah, so a lot of weird Spawn to Pure Flix pipeline is very real. Yeah, probably.
I love it.
Has anyone checked up on what DB Sweeney is doing lately? I mean, that's probably where he's at.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's talk about this next thing.
Yeah, so this next one's going to be a lot of fun. A couple of days ago, we got a poster reveal for the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the trailer is coming out tomorrow, which you can stick around this channel and see a trailer reaction when it drops tomorrow.
Oh, because we're definitely doing one for sure.
This is a cool looking poster, kind of giving us an idea of what the animation is going to look like, which looks like the video games.
I'm on board.
Yeah. I saw someone earlier was talking about like it would be funny if they showed us like this like first rendition of Mario and it's just like this weird off the wall look of Mario. So then we could pit like ugly Mario versus ugly Sonic.
Oh yeah, that was Matt Ramos. It was the suits
okay.
Dude.
God, damn it, why am I quoting him?
That was that Soups guy that everybody hates on Twitter.
Anyways, I thought that was a funny idea, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna stick very close to like how he looks in the video games, especially because Nintendo is running like its own like movie production company now, and it has aspirations to be like the MCU. They're gonna do like a Nintendo cinematic universe, which I'm gonna hold my breath.
They absolutely don't need to do that. Here's the thing. I'm actually, you know what? I'm behind a Nintendo cinematic universe if they figure out a way to make it make sense, because Metroid and Mario do not exist in the same universe.
Except in Super Smash Brothers.
The Super Smash Brothers games, if you go based off of the original story of the first Super Smash Brothers games, they're all toys that some kid is just playing with in his room. They're not. It's not a shared Nintendo universe. It's just
this is the movie about Toy Story.
He's just imagining. He's imagining what if his favorite characters were fighting each other. That's Super Smash Brothers.
So basically, the Master Hand and Crazy Hand are his hands, like picking them up and moving them around.
Essentially.
Oh, okay.
Basically, yeah.
Interesting.
But that's just the first one. Obviously, they've like grown on it over the course of like sequels and stuff.
We did make this joke before. Why is it Tori not the voice of Bowser? Hardy, har, har, har. Hardy, hardy, har, har.
Where's Peach? Hardy, hardy, har. Yeah. So I think like the biggest thing to keep in mind right now is like, first of all, if you look at the poster, like the animation obviously is really good. There's like little details everywhere. I love the fact that you see like pipes seem to be like the main way of traveling up this hill or amongst or around the town.
Oh, that's what those are. Okay.
I think it's a nice touch. I think it's really cool.
I thought it looked kind of like the ground, and this is going to show my age. The ground from Dig Dug, the old Dig Dug games looked a lot like that. So I didn't know if they were maybe using that. I do notice like some of those pieces in the background, they do kind of look eerily similar to Tetris pieces. Those red ones that look like L's, and then there's like the one that looks like a straight piece. It's possible.
I don't think this is gonna have anything to do with Tetris, to be honest.
I think they'll do like little nods to other like classic video games.
Yeah, I think those are just pieces that exist within like the Super Mario world. What I like is that antique stand that we see right there. Not to like do a full deep dive analysis of this entire poster, because good lord. But the antique stand with like the like 8-bit POW block or POW button and the musical notes and everything, kind of like
that looks cool.
This movie's gonna be a little meta. It's gonna be tongue in cheek. It's going to be, I don't know if it's gonna be like fully self-referential, but it's gonna be something that we look at that and it's gonna be like harkening back to Mario's roots a lot. It's going to be really interesting. What I think that we all need to keep in mind right now is that today is Wednesday. Tomorrow at 3
Central.
Is it 3 Central? Yeah, tomorrow at 3 Central time. It's like 1 Pacific. We get a Nintendo Direct, which usually that's about the Nintendo games and everything that Nintendo's planning on doing for like their game systems and whatnot. They're going to do a whole Direct talking about this movie. Probably, I would expect it to probably be like a 10-minute or something. Like they want to like go in and talk about like, how did we stumble upon wanting to make this movie? What do we feel like we want to accomplish making this movie, kind of a thing? What is Nintendo's hopes and dreams? Because most of them got dashed when the original Super Mario Brothers movie came out in like in the early 90s, 93, I think it was. And then they're going to give us the trailer. And there's something to keep in mind here, because right now, Wednesday, October 5th, it's 9:16 Central Time. We don't know what Chris Pratt Mario sounds like. Tomorrow, Thursday, 3-something Central Time, we're all going to know what Chris Pratt Mario sounds like.
Maybe.
Very likely. It's very likely we're going to know what Chris Pratt Mario sounds like.
He's going to sound like Owen Grady from the Jurassic World movies.
I'm
with
terrified.
Maybe a hint of Star-Lord.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Although I do think that it is very likely that they could lean towards the Bob Hoskins,
sounding Mario.
Voice, in which case, everything's gonna be fine. It'll probably be okay.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to put my money on this, that he's probably not going to talk. It's going to be a teaser trailer, so I'm not expecting a lot. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be one of those trailers where the trailer is completely original material. Like, we're not actually going to see anything from the movie. It's basically the trailer just like, here he comes, and we see like the little feats running. We may hear like Charles Martinet's like whoopee type of thing.
Where you see some kind of like figure standing with like a silhouette, and you see him like putting on the red cap or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna get something like that.
I see that. I hear you. I hear this idea. You're gonna get at least one line, and it's gonna be probably, if anything, if he doesn't speak the rest of the trailer, you'll get one line, and it'll be "Let's go." It's gonna be that. Promise. If he doesn't say anything else, he'll say that. Boom.
Or
That'll
that
be
it's me, Mario.
Probably not. Probably doing the let's go kind of thing. But I do think he's gonna say something in the trailer. We're going to hear his voice. It's not going to be a silent. We're going to hear his voice.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm like, I could see it going either way. Again, I'm willing to bet money it's probably going to be a trailer that has no actual footage from the movie in it.
I disagree. I do think that they are going to show footage from the movie. I think it's going to be one of those teasers that don't actually feel like a teaser. I think it's actually going to feel like a normal trailer, to be honest. And the reason I predict this and the reason I think this is because they're not doing a whole ass Nintendo Direct for 5 seconds of footage of Mario being silhouetted and putting on his hat. We're going to see footage from the movie. They're not doing a whole Nintendo Direct just for that. It's going to be an actual trailer. So, which is why I definitely think he's going to talk. We're going to hear voice.
Well, we'll see tomorrow when we do a trailer reaction to this, because this will be fun. Kind of eager to see how this trailer is going to look, though. So, now quick side note, and I'll probably talk about this after seeing the trailer during the reaction. I personally would like to see another take on a live action Mario rather than like a full animated movie. But I want to see it done in a proper way and not the crappy way that the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo movie was done in. Yeah. Especially with Dennis Hopper as Koopa. That was weird.
As King Koopa or Bowser, as we now know him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just a lot of strange things they did with that movie. But
what's up with the Goombas?
Yeah. Let's get into talking about the main topic for tonight. What is Marvel doing? Yes, that's right. We can't go one single week without talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is just that big. It is its own genre of movies onto itself at this point, that the second there's any thought or any hint of something changing in the Marvel news, the entire internet's going to blow up about it. So therefore, since we run a movie YouTube channel, it's time for the Feige family updates. Hey, what's going on? Forget about it. We're going to talk about some Marvel news. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to talk about it too. We know. We get you all your money.
I feel like that image should be like a video package that we play, like the Barbie thing, where you should hear like some kind of like Godfather music. And it like comes out of the shadows. It just
we'll give you a movie that you have to see, that you can't refuse.
Unless it's Thor, Love and Thunder, in which case no one blames you.
Anyways, before we get into like some of the more major news, I guess, it was announced that Michael Waldron, who is a writer for Loki and Doctor Strange, in the Madness of Method, or Mom, let's just call it Mom, the multiverse of moms, whatever.
There's a method in my multiverse.
There's a method to the multiverse of madness, and I don't know. I don't have the Doctor Strange. I still have this one though.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I don't have the Doctor Strange as the mom image on here, which, I mean, y'all all luck out on that one. That's a creepy ass image. But yeah, so he has been selected to write the Avengers Secret Wars, which is leaving the internet completely divided on this. Because
I don't know why.
Loki was fantastic. Doctor Strange Mom?
It was fine.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty decent.
It's not the best thing Marvel's done, unless you ask PJ Campbell, but it is pretty decent.
I get why PJ's a big Sam Raimi fan, so with the Sam Raimi-ness of it kind of helps sway that. And that's the same for me, too. I like Sam Raimi. I like the Evil Dead movies. That's definitely up my alley. Yeah. Sam Raimi and Marvel? Yes, please. Yeah. So,
I don't know why people hate this, though.
Even so far as like I've seen like a petition online to get people to sign it to remove Michael Waldron from doing Secret Wars.
People do petitions for literally everything because people are spoiled crybabies who want their way all the time and can't stand it when they don't get their way.
I need a petition for everything. I need a petition to get more people to advertise and speak the goodwill of the Cinefanatics so we get more viewers and more subscribers. Like, that would be great. No one's doing a petition on that, though, so might do it myself. Anyways, I kind of like this idea just because we've seen him be able to handle big stuff. I think the storyline of Doctor Strange Mom wasn't bad. I thought the story was pretty good. It just, there was some bits and pieces of it that I feel like got a little convoluted, that were just a little too out there. But given the fact that movie was, for all intents and purposes, like an original movie. It wasn't based off of a previously existing Marvel storyline per se.
Yeah.
Ish. Other than like the Scarlet Witch being bad. That's roughly about it. Yeah. While Secret Wars is an entire known story from Marvel, much like Civil War or the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Those were all things that were derived from an existing Marvel comic.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be a lot better because he's basically going to be writing material that already exists in some form. Of course, he'll be changing it up to fit within the MCU, but we already have a concept of how Secret Wars works.
What we call this is an adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
He's basically adapting the stories from the comics directly into the movie. I don't think this is bad at all. I don't really understand why people hate this, because I watched Loki, and that final episode of Loki was stellar. Their use of what do you go by? He who remains or something.
He who remains. Kang. Let's just call him Kang. He's Kang. He's a version of Kang.
Or He Who Remains, Kang.
Yeah.
He wrote that version of the character, and we know that Kang's going to have a heavy influence in probably both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. He'll likely have some precursor influence to Secret Wars. So, knowing that both those movies are capping out the multiverse saga arc, and we're talking about the person who kind of did the TV show that really kind of introduced the whole multiverse concept, or at least a subsequent concept, because it's more timelines than multiverse. Bear with me. I understand the difference. Trust me. No. But he started with that, and then he's got the actual like multiverse stuff with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think he's actually pretty fit for the job, considering what they probably want to do with Secret Wars. So I'm not upset about this. And I honestly, like, it blows my mind that people are.
Yeah. I just like the fact that we're reaching a part with the Marvel movies now that even the writers are like, when writers are announced, that's, people want to talk about that. People feel strong just in the writers. Like, you go back like 10 years, your casual movie fan, they may care about who's directing the movie and who stars in the movie. Who's producing, writing, cinematographer, probably don't really care. Composer, maybe, depending on if it's a type of movie that's going to lend itself to a banging soundtrack, especially if it's all just score. Then sure. But now we're to a point where, we are looking at who the cinematographers are. We are looking at who's writing the scripts. Like, this is something that even your casual movie lover is going to start talking about and have knowledge of. So I kind of like, if nothing else, I like the fact that we're reaching that level with not only movies, but specifically in the MCU now.
I think it's also a fascinating conversation when we talk about MCU stuff also, that we're at the point where, you know, we can kind of almost trust anything that Kevin Feige decides from the producerial standpoint. And when we talk about like all this stuff, when we talk about like what's good, what's bad, we're holding the MCU. It almost feels like we're starting to hold the MCU to a different level than we do like almost any other movies, because they're accomplishing something and have accomplished something with the MCU that most other film franchises never do, which is a giant cohesive universe that flows together. And while it has wildly different tones, still largely works over the course of almost 15 years. What? Like, no one else is doing that. So we're almost like starting to hold the MCU to a different regard, different level, wherein I'm comfortable in saying that all the movies that the MCU has produced are good, except for Thor: Love and Thunder. All of them are good, though. They're all generally good. Yes, I prefer Dark World to Love and Thunder. I still need to watch it again, to be honest. I'll watch it again and probably change my opinion just a little
I like
bit.
Love and Thunder more than Dark World.
For
I'd
the
say
most part.
I think the black sheep of it so far is Eternals. I think I like Dark World more than Eternals.
I liked Eternals way more on my second watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. Anyway, what my point is that MCU produces good stuff. So even if you don't like it, generally speaking, everybody regards that MCU. For the most part, I'm not talking about like the trolls and stuff on Twitter. For the most part, MCU puts out quality content, quality films and movies and fun stuff. So they put out a fun time at the movie theaters, is what I'm saying. They're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Water.
So next piece of MCU news. Apparently, it's rumored that Harrison Ford will be taking over the role of General Thunderbolt Ross for the Thunderbolts movie. I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but I mean, it does sound like there was some kind of confirmation that Harrison Ford has met with Marvel, but I don't know if it was 100% confirmed that he was meeting to be in Thunderbolts or specifically to play Thunderbolt Ross. But if that's true, what that tells me is that they are definitely, if they do want to put Thunderbolt Ross in the Thunderbolts movie, they are wanting to go with the Red Hulk storyline.
Potentially.
That's the only reason to include him in there. I mean, the way the MCU is right now, Thunderbolt Ross does not need to actually be a part of the Thunderbolts unless they're wanting to do the Red Hulk.
I was going to say, I can think of one reason, and that's the fact that the group is literally named after him. Thunderbolt Ross, the group's named Thunderbolts. That's your reasoning for getting him in there.
Sure, but
even if he doesn't be
the
Red
way
Hulk.
the MCU is right now, I don't think anyone actually remembers that. Your normal movie-going MCU watching person probably doesn't remember that his nickname is Thunderbolt. In fact, I think they may have barely even mentioned it in the Incredible Hulk movie.
I think it's not relevant if the audience remembers that's his nickname or not. It's just that the fact that it is his nickname in the story anyway. But my thing about this is, first of all, Harrison Ford being in an MCU, I'm about as down for that as I was for Robert Redford being in an MCU. Absolutely give it to me. I would love to see him appear. Get as much use out of Harrison Ford as you can while he is alive, kicking it, and willing to do stuff. Give me all the Harrison Ford that you can produce. As Thunderbolt Ross, I mean, look, you're dealt a specific hand here. Obviously, William Hurt is no longer with us. He passed away. So if they want to keep the character around, they have to recast him. He has to be recast. It's more of, is Harrison Ford the best choice for this particular role, for this particular recasting? It's a hard uphill battle no matter who, because you're casting someone who doesn't look like William Hurt and doesn't necessarily act like William Hurt, and so the character is going to feel a little bit different if he appears again. But I think for me, my question is Harrison Ford the best choice for this, or do you want to go with someone else? The number one in my mind would be like Ed Harris. I feel like Ed Harris would be a really good choice for
here comes PLD.
Yep, he's coming in. Yep. But no, I honestly, like, while he doesn't necessarily look like William Hurt either, and I don't think you're necessarily going to find anyone who looks like William Hurt unless William Hurt had a twin. I'm talking about someone who can carry the same kind of demeanor. And while I know that Harrison Ford is capable of carrying a very strictly by the book kind of grounded demeanor like that, I think Ed Harris probably can connect it a little bit more than him, and would probably lean a little more towards like the William Hurt of it all.
I would like to get Sam Elliott back for that, but I don't know if they're going to do that since he played that character in the 03 Hulk. So they may purposely stay away from that. And I don't know about doing like any kind of like, I don't know if we need to dive into a Thunderbolt variant from the 03 Hulk. That might be a little too much.
I mean, that would technically, without us knowing the actual story, that could be one way they could tie the Thunderbolts into the whole multiverse saga type thing. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like 100% on board with them bringing Sam Elliott back. I think they just need to recast. Which does leave a lot of like discussion right now about they can recast Ross, but they don't recast T'Challa. Which we talked about the whole T'Challa thing last week and the reason why. And I think these are two very completely different situations. One in which Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of T'Challa, portrayal of Black Panther, is iconic in a way that William Hurt's portrayal of General Ross was never going to be.
No one's walked away from those movies going, man, did you see William Hurt's performance of Thunderbolt Ross in this? Man,
changed my life.
Absolutely. William Hurt represents all of us in that movie. Yeah, there's nobody saying that.
And he did a great job. He portrayed the role very well, but the character does not lean towards that. Does not lean towards having an iconic portrayal that actually can mean something to a lot of people. Maybe it's some people in the military. I don't know. Can't speak for them, but for the most part, it makes sense to recast the Thunderbolt character because he's not a lead character. He can be recasted. He can be sidelined. He's a supporting role. T'Challa is a lead character. He led the movie. He was a front and center type of person, and you can't just recast someone who's front and center like that unless your name is the Hulk. But that's not the point either. So
yeah. And that's the thing with Rhodey is
also a side character.
He was a side character that was also at the very beginning of the MCU. We're in a position now where if you're going to act in an MCU property, you basically have to sign away that you're not going to disagree with anything. Like, what if you're signing on to play this role, you're in this role like for life, pretty much. I think we've talked about this before. This is a new way of doing deals with actors and making movies. Again, briefly going back to comic books, if you want Thor or Wolverine in your comic, you just draw and write them in. No big deal. If you want Thor in your movie, you have to go find Chris Hemsworth and hope that he's willing to make this deal to play Thor for a 5-second cameo in your movie. That's a little bit harder to do, and you have to negotiate. Is this a part of a contract? Is this outside of a contract? Hollywood typically doesn't work the same way as writing and drawing a comic book.
Right.
So yeah, like Rhodey was able to be recasted because this was at the beginning of the MCU. We were expecting that eventually characters may have to be recast. Now it's going to be like this character is going to be recasted, but pretty much only if the first actor passed away.
Out of necessity.
Yeah. And then it also depends on the character, like Ross Marquand taking over for Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Absolutely really can't see a difference in that.
Sounded like him. Looks like him because it's Red Skull makeup.
Perfectly fine. It works great. In fact, I want to see Red Skull in a movie again. That would be awesome. But
yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it as a big deal of Ross being recasted here. It's going to take me out of it a little bit. I think it'll take a lot of people out of it a little bit because the character is supposed to be the same character, but he looks different. Just like, even though, we're watching She-Hulk and they did even more allusions in She-Hulk to Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner being the exact same Bruce Banner from Incredible Hulk, and him even recounting like having experienced everything that happened in Incredible Hulk because it's the same Bruce Banner, it's the same character. But it's still, even all these years later, it still takes me out just a little bit that Hulk used to look like Edward Norton. Now he looks like Mark Ruffalo. and it's even Rhodey kind of takes me out just a little bit. But what are you going to do?
It takes me out now when I go watch the first Iron Man movie, because now Rhodey is Don Cheadle, so it's kind of weird going back and watching the first Iron Man movie and it's not Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
So that's what takes me out of it. So it's kind of like the backwards take you out of it.
Yeah, but I think in this situation, I mean, we're talking about William Hurt passed away. Like,
yeah,
you don't have really no option other than just retiring the character and him just disappearing completely, which they could do. They really could do that. They could just never touch the Red Hulk storyline. They could never bring him in for anything else ever again. And I don't think anyone's really going to cry and miss him all that much, which is my point exactly why they can recast him, because we cry and miss T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do still believe that we'll see T'Challa again someday, probably a multiversal variant of some sort, but
probably for
not anytime soon.
Yeah, that would be like a one-off situation. I don't think they're not going to recast him and then we'll have a new T'Challa going forward. I don't see that happening right now. Of course, it depends on how this next movie performs. So yeah.
We'll also see in the event one day if the MCU as a whole just gets completely rebooted, which could happen. So that's a whole topic of discussion for another day.
Yeah. After Secret Wars, reboot everything. Very possible.
Maybe.
Speaking of Rhodey, though, the other big piece of news was they announced that they're no longer looking at doing a Disney Plus show of Armor Wars. They want to change this to now an Armor Wars movie. Two things on this that I like. One, that's going to put Don Cheadle in a starring role, which that man deserves a starring role. Side note, that now means I have to quickly look at updating my Iron Man Hot Toys figures with a War Machine. At least. I don't know if I want to go for the Iron Patriot, but at least a War Machine.
Not Patriot.
Yeah. But the second thing with this is this sounds like it's probably in relation to how Marvel feels the performance of what's her name? Dominique Thorne? Is it Dominique Thorne? Her portrayal of Riri Ironheart in the upcoming Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Yeah. I'm guessing this means that they're really pleased with her performance and how she is of that character, that they want to make her character bigger. We want to see her like on the big screen type of thing before she gets her own Disney Plus show as well.
Which is interesting because we know that Disney Plus show is still coming. It's already dated and everything. Mm-hmm. And we know it's following Wakanda Forever. But is it? Did we get a date on Armor Wars? Did they actually say there's a date for it?
I don't know if there's an actual date yet. So I don't know if this will be before or after the actual Ironheart series.
So there is potential for it to be after the Ironheart series, in which case we see this movie effectively being Rhodey doing the torch passing on to Riri, essentially, for the Iron Man title, more or less. Obviously, Tony Stark can't do it. He died. Spoilers. But his best friend Rhodey, who operates War Machine, absolutely can. He can be front and center of the movie and pass the torch along. There's a lot of fun stuff that they could actually do with this movie that I'm really interested in. And I do kind of dig the idea of them doing it as a movie. Because where that puts it is that I think we'll see it actually take the form of essentially an Iron Man 4. Like we've gotten a fourth Thor. We're getting a fourth Captain America. And in that fourth Captain America, we have Falcon. We have Sam Wilson's now Captain America. So in the same way, I think we could see this take the role of Iron Man 4, be a continuation of the Iron Man franchise, so to speak, and kind of pass that torch along through War Machine onto Riri.
Like the movie would actually just be called Iron Man 4 or Iron Man Armor Wars. And Armor Wars becomes the subtitle to, I think that's very, very possible. The only issue with that is, of course, Iron Man isn't going to be in it. It's going to be War Machine and Riri and then whoever else. Very likely this will probably be bringing back Justin Hammer to make some more armor in some sort.
The answer to that is the Iron Man armors will be there.
Yeah.
Iron Man armor will be present, even if Tony Stark isn't there. Like, I know we did the whole Iron Man 3, I am Iron Man, even without the armor. Well, the Iron Man armor will still be present, I'm sure. It's gonna be part of it. So
Yeah.
that's why it's called Armor Wars. The whole arc dealt with Iron Man's tech, with Iron Man's armor. So I like it. I like the idea of it potentially being the either direct successor or spiritual successor to the Iron Man franchise. Just like the other big heroes got their sequels, this will be Iron Man's fourth movie, effectively, even if it's just a carrying on the torch, like Captain America New World Order is going to be a carrying on the torch onto a new Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So I dig it. I dig this news. I dig Rhodey being front and center, and I dig the idea of, obviously, I think Riri's probably going to have a significant role, I'm sure, in it. This is another thing that a lot of people brought up that Malcolm is saying here is the possibility of Tony Stark coming back, being the AI voice in Ironheart's suit. It's a good idea. It's not a terrible idea. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they need to do that. And I think if they can't get Robert Downey Jr. to come in and record lines, that it's not going to hurt the movie for it to not happen. It could add to it, but I don't think it's going to take away from it if they don't do it.
And that's going back to kind of what I was saying. Like in the comics, you could just write that it's Tony Stark, and when we read that bubble with words, we're like, oh, okay, this is Tony Stark saying that's cool. In a movie, if you're going to say it's Tony Stark, it has to sound like Robert Downey Jr.
Until a whole reboot happens.
Yeah, and then in that case, does Robert Downey Jr. want to come back? Like, he may have been absolutely 100% okay with his death in Endgame being the end of his character, and he just walks away from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, taking some time to make another movie that has absolutely nothing to do with Iron Man, or getting some very much needed and well-deserved rest.
Yeah.
Like, he may not want to come back for that. And so, yeah, I don't think that that's a major thing that needs to happen.
I personally am, I don't necessarily want to see an Iron Man or a Tony Stark AI voice. I would rather Robert Downey Jr. take his time and then do one last appearance in Secret Wars. Have him and Chris Evans come back for Secret Wars. Don't do anything else with the two of them. Let them come back for that one movie, one off, and boom, bada bing, boom. We have fun. We can do some fun stuff with that. Let it go after that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and so that's even more, is that if they do it that way, then it would require him to also be a physical presence as a hologram.
But
although they are doing that whole thing where Disney can use James Earl Jones's voice for Darth Vader going forward, like we talked about last week, it's very possible that Disney could have Robert Downey Jr. sign off on like his likeness and his voice, and that they just computer generate that instead of having him physically have to go do that. In which case, the benefit to Robert Downey Jr. is he's collecting a paycheck without doing any work.
Yeah, and that's a whole, like we were talking about this last week. That's a whole new topic of conversation when you're talking about a living actor who no longer has to do their job to receive paychecks for things that they're doing.
And let's be honest, it's not like Robert Downey Jr. is hurting for money.
No,
like what did he got, like $50 million for Endgame, something like that? Like, there's a big part of Endgame's budget that went directly just to him.
He took, I think he took a slight pay cut just because he understood that they've got a lot of actors, big name actors, that they got to pay for it. So he's like, yeah, we'll be a team player here. And so he took less than he would have otherwise. But
yeah, I mean, it's very possible they may do something like that. That seems to be the direction that Disney would like to go in some cases like this anyways. Instead of having to pay for someone to physically be there for a whole day shoot, if they could just pay him for likeness rights type of thing, in which case, again, as an actor, he'd probably be down for that. He doesn't have to do anything. He can spend that whole day with his family and he still gets paid. So
as long as you guys don't make me sound like an idiot, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Money, please.
Yeah. That would be money, please.
Money, please.
That would be great. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for tonight.
We did the thing.
I thought this was going to be like over 2 hours looking at all the news stories and stuff we had to get through. Like, woo, it's a stacked news night.
We cranked through those horror stories really quickly because I have nothing to add to them.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, so quick recap before we end this. Again, this Friday will be the marquee. We are doing the Child's Play movies with special guests Vernon Greene and Tori Rose. Again, this is going to be Child's Play, the original 1988 through the 2019 remake-ish thing.
Remake boot.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about more about that on the tagline, on the marquee this Friday. But that'll be this Friday, October 7th, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. It's probably going to be pretty short because it's only going to be 8 movies. We are not tier ranking the first season of the Chucky show, so won't be talking about that. Otherwise, yeah, nothing else coming up other than like more marquees, and I'll talk about those again some more on the marquee this Friday. Otherwise, yeah, be on the lookout for our trailer reaction to the Super Mario Brothers movie trailer tomorrow.
I'm excited. And
I don't know if I'm going to do videos, but I'll probably do something at least on social media, giving my opinion of the Hellraiser movie that's coming out, I believe, Friday. And then I'm seeing Terrifier 2 on Saturday, so I might drop something on like Twitter about that. I'm contemplating maybe here in about 30 or so minutes, I may go live on my channel, which the link is down below in the description. So if you just want like a late night hangout, I don't have like anything specifically I want to talk about, so this isn't going to be Robert Adams TED Talk lecture time. Nothing I really feel like I need to get off my chest. Might just do like an AMA or like bounce some ideas off of whoever's watching to see what y'all would like for me to do with the channel. There's a couple of things I feel like I'm going to work on, like some graphics, or I might try setting up my Nintendo Wii that I found, my Wii U, so I can play Wii U instead of just regular Nintendo games. But yeah, I might do that here in about 30-45 minutes or so, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Make sure you follow us on social media at Cinefanatics MLP, Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you like this video, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, comment down below if you're watching this on a replay. And otherwise, you can follow me, Robert Adams MLP, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Chris.
You can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP, where I'm streaming and having a lot of fun. I also might stream tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I might stream tomorrow, possibly. I don't know if I do. I don't know what I would want to do during that stream. It would be a later night, evening chill stream as well. But likely, if I don't do it tomorrow night, you will absolutely find me here on Sunday, where we'll be playing games and having some fun. So, yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank y'all for watching. We will see y'all hopefully tomorrow for that trailer reaction. Until then, good night, everyone.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Why?